Life today with my mom and dad is just great. I'm an adult now. It's a different kind of relationship. They're still very protective, but now that I'm 25, I can really see why, and I really appreciate it. And now I realize, again, mom does know more than me. When I was younger, mom knew everything and dad knew everything, and then when I was a teenager, they didn't know anything. But now that I'm older, it's like, wow, there's so much I didn't know. The older I get, the more I know that I don't know. I've recently moved to Chicago, and it's the first time really that I've ever moved out and that I've ever been away from my family. And it's hard. It's really hard. I miss them so much, but it's something I need to do to fly a little birdie on my own and try to make my own way in the world. But I call my mom every day and talk to her and try to keep her really included in my life, and we call and go over different recipes, and I make them and she'll make them, and we cook over the phone together. It's wonderful. I'm so blessed to have them in my life. My dad, he would do absolutely anything for me. I know if I called and said, Dad, I'm broken down in Chicago, he'd be in a car and drive and come get me. At my presentations, one of the normal questions that kids will ask me is, how do you trust men? Can you have relationships with boys? And relationships come with their own problems and complications, of course, and after something like this, after you're abused, it comes with a whole different series of complications, and trust can be really hard. And it took me a long time to learn that rape is about power and control, and love never is. And I found a wonderful man. He is just great, and he's so supportive of my work and my mission. It's really important because it takes up a lot of time and it's my passion. So for him to be there behind me and supporting me and just being great, he's just a really wonderful guy. It's always been important for me to find somebody and date somebody who doesn't know what happened, because if they'd already heard the story, they have tons of preconceived notions about it, and he had no idea who I was, so I was able to tell him my story when I was comfortable and as I saw fit. It's so important to remember that this happened to a real person, and that's what I tell kids. You don't think that something horrible can happen to you often until it does, or it happens to somebody you know. Let me be that person that this happened to, that's a friend of yours, that you know. They didn't tear me from the silver screen of a horror film. This happened in real life, and I was a good, average, quiet kid. And if it can happen to me, it can happen to you, and it can happen to your children.